everyone. First, thank you very much for having me talk about a very important topic, one of the key trends over the last 12 months, which is around generative AI. My name is Gopinath Sankaran. I am the Vice President for Strategic Ecosystems at Informatica. Informatica has been in the business of data, specifically delivering trusted data to enterprises. Our primary segment has always been in the Global 2000 companies. We have something like 95% of the Fortune 500 companies, and we have been working with them with respect to data. So we live, breathe data, and today I wanted to share what are our learnings by working with our customers and also with respect to Informatica itself on how trusted data helps with trusted AI outcomes. There's a huge platform shift that is happening, and you would have already seen it over the last 12 months. This is primarily because the platform shift is fed by two major things. One is around natural language processing, which is the next evolution of the human-computer interface. How can I communicate with the computer and get value from that using natural language and not just as computational languages? And the second part of that is, as I give all these complex inputs, is there a processing engine that can compute at scale and provide me the right output and the right information that is on par with what humans can provide? These two things have really changed a huge platform shift, and that is going to create a massive amount of value for all of us. As business leaders, you would have already seen about, hey, I need to have a generative AI strategy because this is what is the future. How should I think about it, all these stuff? For many of you guys, you'll actually, if you take a step back, you'll actually think that you're already using a lot of these AI technologies because there is an evolution of these AI technologies that has been happening from traditional ML, which is more about the use cases like, hey, if I read a book, here are some of the books you might like. That is the traditionally machine learning technology, which is a certain set of a single input gives you a single output, rules-based, very simple. Then came the deep learning technologies. Again, for people who have been in the gaming industry, they have much more exposure to that because it had inputs across the various dimensions around videos and things like that. And it had some, it still had very simple outputs. But the very big change which has happened is around generative AI. There is a tipping point which happened through this AI journey where any sort of complex inputs you can give and you do get complex outputs like how humans, we think. And this is primarily possible because of two major things. One is the scale of compute. And the second part of this is much more closer to you, and you are seeing it every day, is around the proliferation of data. Today, the volume, the velocity of the data, and both in structured and unstructured format that is getting created and the drive to get the insights from us is absolutely game-changing. So because of all these stuff, now generative AI is the key data trend, and now we are at that cycle where we as business leaders are starting to look at it as how we wanted to drive generative AI related outcomes. When we talk about this, earlier I talked about the simple use cases, but there are very specific generative AI use cases, and that is where it adds a lot of value from a functional standpoint within our industries and also within what we do with our customers. One of the main things which you wanted to look at from a generative AI use cases, some of them would be around, take a look at business operations, how I can do document processing, or how I can summarize the massive amount of text. If you're a legal company, the amount of text, the discovery which you try to do, now it is going to be completely tightened up. Similarly, when it comes to customer experience or visual arts, marketing, all these functional use cases, they are going to get efficient, and at the same time, they are going to drive more value to the customers, creating more opportunities. And thinking of the use cases, now you can actually even look at the use cases across different industries. Let me go through as a healthcare industry. Within the healthcare, medical diagnostics and imaging is a huge value they are getting from generative AI. I come from a family where my sister, my brother-in-law, they're all radiologists. And today they use the generative AI tools to not just validate their diagnostics, but also help them with their diagnostics. Similarly, in other industries, whether it is in manufacturing with respect to predictive maintenance, or with respect to drug discovery in life sciences, or asset management, risk management in FinServ, all these stuff, you have very good industry-specific generative AI use cases that was not possible even 12 months back. So thinking of generative AI use cases, as business leaders, now you can start to think of what is the value this can actually drive to us. As we look at all these generative AI use cases and everything, one of the key things in all these stuff, and this is the biggest ingredient of all these things, is around data. Data is your key strategic and differentiating asset. A solid data foundation will ensure how you build trusted data, and using trusted data, how you can build trusted AI outcomes. At Informatica, earlier I mentioned we are in the business of building trusted data. This includes how we go discover the data, ensure quality of the data, establish that the data is usable, and go forward with respect to how we can provide a 360-degree view of the data with all the necessary privacy and security parameters associated with that. So because of that, we have a very specific point of view when it comes to how you should think of a solid data foundation. So as business leaders, as you are thinking of how I can have the confidence and build trusted AI outcomes, it all starts with how can I build trusted data. To think of trusted data, there are 4 major things or a mental model that it will be good for you to think of. The first thing is around, do you have a full understanding of your data architecture? And this is something which I would strongly advise in your EC, make it as a point of discussion and have your chief data officer and everyone come and talk about it. Because today we have seen that there are a lot of gaps even in your data architecture, and you need to definitely go and prioritize what are those gaps, how you want to address. In the world of structured data, it is you will see that many of these gaps are okay, but when it comes to generative AI, all these gaps can result in prohibitively expensive cost, not just from dollars, but also in time. The second part to think about would be the quality of the data. See, you got to ensure the high quality of the data, because the quality of the data pretty much determines what sort of AI outcomes are you going to drive and what sort of confidence you are going to get. When I say as the quality of the data is across multiple layers. It is not just structured data, which today you use for analytics. It's also about unstructured data. How do you think of data observability? What is the health of the data to ensure the quality? The third part of this mental model is around how do you manage your enterprise proprietary data? How do you manage PII data? And how do you future-proof yourself for all the regulations and the compliance restrictions that is coming up as part of the overall AI governance? Understand how a data is put together. Understand what is the lineage of the data. Understand that there are processes to identify your PII information, how you manage that information, and also figure out what are my IP and how that is getting mingled and all that stuff. And finally, the fourth part of all these stuff is you need to have a very robust data governance framework. The data governance framework helps to address all the other 3 things which I talked to you about. It is all about people, processes, and technology. And when you have a robust data governance framework, that attached to an AI governance can ensure that you have trusted data with respect to trusted AI outcomes. I have talked to you about how to think of trusted AI outcomes in the context of trusted data, and this is a point of view we had from decades of work which we have been doing on data with respect to a lot of our customers, and also with respect to Informatica, because we have been doing this for the last 5 to 10 years, trying to build the governance on us. So once again, thank you very much for the time you took to listen to this quick talk, but definitely do always think that at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway for you is your data is the strategic and differentiating asset which will deliver the right AI outcomes for you.